Okay, so you most likely want to make some maps for your favorite game, perhaps? Serious Sam, perhaps you want to learn uh, how the game engines work? Maybe you want to be a game developer, you want to get those skills? Well, let me help you out with this. So, by default, you won't find anything here. So we need to click where it says Games, choose Tools, and the editor will pop up. It's in my favorites, but you can just type in the search bar Serious Sound Fusion or Serious Sound Edit. No? Yeah, searches won't work. We just tested that. You have to manually go down and look for a title that starts with S. So for instance, if I wanted to, I could get installed Serious Sound 2's editor. So let's start with the Fusion's editor, and we'll see where that goes. I'm gonna teach you on how to actually put the map into your own game and on how to play it properly. So by default, you're greeted with this blank space. What we want is a map, so we're gonna go File, New, World. Okay, this is just a blank space. Now, to actually navigate, you press Escape while the mouse is in the gray area. By that I mean by those grids it won't work. Oh, it actually works. So just press Escape. Use your mouse to look around. Left mouse button will allow you to go forward. Right mouse backwards. ASDW will allow you to move it like this as well, so you don't have to use the mouse, but if you wanted to, you can just do it like this. Now, while in the camera mode, to get rid of it, press Escape, as you see here. Press Escape again to go back into camera mode. Next is if we press W and keep going forward, and mouse wheel will allow you to change the speed, while the up is faster and the backwards slower, really slow. Okay, but for instance at the moment, no. To start working with your maps, you may want to go to Entity List and choose Geometry, and we need a simple model. There's two ways of adding this: by going to Geometry, by pressing the plus sign over here where it says Simple Model, drag and drop it in, or press Insert key, like so. If you hold Shift and left mouse button to select multiple, or just regular mouse click on one of the entities will allow you to select it one by one, just like by one. Yes. Delete key while it's selected will get rid of it. Okay, but you most likely, that's just the basics. You probably don't need all of it at the moment. You just want to create stuff. So how do we do that? The first thing, what I like to do is when I have no ideas completely, you click Open World, and by default it should open like this. This folder, go to root directory, will put you here. So with disk, content is what we want. This one allows you to go backwards one by one, or you can just use these arrows. Next, for instance, I really love working with second encounter or HD, but by default, let's suppose we want a second encounter environment. We go to Levels, TSE, and choose which map you want to sample. Okay, like what kind of assets do you want? So for instance, I could choose perhaps Ziggurat. And we're gonna add one asset, that's it. Now, once it's loaded, you're gonna get really confused because there's so much entities going on. There's like thousands of them, like this, as you see here. So if you remember, if you press escape, WASD to move around, mouse wheel to zoom in and out. This is what I mean that you'll get confused because there's so many entities, like these blues, greens, so on and so forth. But we don't need that. We don't care about that at the moment. Now, here's what you do. Gonna select this one, and we're gonna press hold Control and C, like so. It says here. And now we're gonna click on Window, tile horizontally, which means we'll go back to our map. Control V, like, hold on. Okay. Problem is, I was in the sectors mode, as you see here. Make sure you're not in the sectors mode, but in entity mode, which will allow you then to copy it in, like so. And I copied a bunch of them. Yeah, make sure that's an entity and not sectors, otherwise it won't work. It will confuse you. So let's suppose we have this, okay? Let me just enable cling again. Okay, this is what we have. What can we do with it? How do we get more? How do we expand? It's relatively simple. But first, let's save our work at the moment. Let's, for instance, we want this to be a BFE level. So we save as, go to the root directory over here, choose SIRSAM3, levels, and now we can create our new directory. Because we're making our own campaign, we're not putting this into BFE's campaign, otherwise it's just gonna extend it and cause issues. We want it to be in our own. So SIRSAM3 levels and create new directory, and we're just gonna type in 01 tutorial. Put 01 if it's your first campaign. If it's a continuation, put 02. But at the moment it's just 01 campaign, so it's just first campaign of ours. And underscore, it can be any title you want. Just make sure you don't have spaces. Okay, like so. And we're gonna create another directory with, no, actually we're just gonna save it in here. Okay, so 01 my first level, can be anything. 01 specifies it in the world. We're at the moment saving worlds, where it says WLD world. It means we'll be working with the world in using NFOs, which will specify in the script on what kind of information to give. So 01 is our first level. When you're making a second one, you put 02. So at the moment it's gonna be 01 my first level, so we're gonna hit save. Now, if we played our level, it won't work. So we need to fix that. So let's suppose we want the starting area to be here. Control S to save it. And the console key, as you see here, it's to deselect it, to deselect your selection. So okay, so for spawning we need logic and choose chapter info. As you see here, the arrow indicates where the player will look once he spawns. So we're gonna hold Control, and by right clicking on the blue arrow or anywhere like this, or it can be by holding left click, not click, by holding left mouse. And if you do it with the left mouse button, it will rotate it like that. Control Z to undo it. If you do it with the right mouse button, it will snap like this. Okay, save it. Now, it won't work still. Once we even have this, it won't work. So we need to press Control F and type in world. It comes up already, but let me finish typing. And we're gonna hit OK. Make sure it's the same selection as mine on here. Otherwise it may not come up if you have other selections. So make sure it's exactly like that. Hit OK. Now go to entity over here. All of the entity work you're gonna do is gonna be in here. Entity list is just to get things started, and entities to get things editing. Okay, so it's like right here, and it says where it says first chapter, gonna hit on pick target from world, which is this green icon, and choose our first chapter. Control S to save it, which means now it will work. So to test this, you press T. Okay, to test this in wherever you want, Shift T. Okay, exactly like that. Now, let's suppose we're done with our level. We want to exactly finish it. That's what we want. We want to see this in game. Okay, so this is what you do. You click File, Open Document, because we're gonna open an NFO file, and since it's a Series Sam 3 level, we're gonna look for exactly 3 title. So it's like here, levels, and we open BFE NFO where it says it like that. And now, the moment we don't need it to do anything here besides file, save as, and type it. It must be exactly as this one. Now save, and now Series Sam 3 levels 01 tutorial NFO. Fine. Where it says TTRS episode name BFE, that's not right. It's no longer BFE, but our campaign. So we're gonna type in 01 tutorial, and within the name it can be anything, but make sure you don't put any symbols, just the letters, regular letters, no symbols. You can use spaces as much as you want, but at the moment it's gonna be called like this. So all we have to do is change BFE to our folder name, and this one to your campaign title. Okay, now we're gonna do this again. File, Open Document, BFE, and where it says Cairo Square, we're gonna open this one because it's our first level. We want it to be our first NFO as well. You don't have to choose for each independent NFO. You can just choose Cairo Square if you're working with BFE. If you're working for HD, use the first level, which is called Hatshepsut, I think. The second is Sierra de Chiapas, the second encounter. Just use first level NFOs and you'll be fine. Now, we need to locate our tutorial level, and it's gonna be in here. Now, at the moment we don't see anything that it's saved here. Nothing's here. That's because we're looking for text. It's looking for text, well, that's why it's not displaying it. So in case you forgot how you named your level, you can just go to computer. I saved it in here. Steam library, Steam apps, common, Series Sam Fusion, content, Series Sam 3, levels, tutorial, and you can just, it just says 01, my first level. 01 it must be exactly like this, .nfo. 01 my first level .nfo, save. Where it says here, it also must be exactly like this. My first level locked, no. So TTRS is named exactly as our folder, file's name I mean, and name is just what you will see in game. So let's try it. Let's launch the game. I'm gonna close the editor and make sure you're not overwriting original files, so we're gonna hit no. And to test your level, you're just gonna hit play, play moddable, hit play. Okay, so single player campaign, my first campaign, my first level, normal. And we'll see if it loads. There we have it. That's how our level is gonna be like. Now it has no shaders, it has no post-processing effect, it has nothing, it's just this room. That's all we want, and you don't have to do this multiple times, you just do it once, and that's it. Yep, so that's pretty much it. That's all you have to do to make your level load. Let me help you with more of the basics on how you can shape your world more. So to locate your file, go open world and go back to levels tutorial, my first level. Here's one of the last basics you need to know is rendering. Rendering allows you to render background and editor models or dynamic shadows even. You just click on it. If you have a numpad, you can press numpad 6 to work with shaders, numpad 9 to work with entities, numpad 7 to work in dark areas. That's all there's to it. Here's how to transform your objects. For instance, I'm going to click on this temple, hold Control C, Control V, mouse wheel with the right button to rotate it. And for instance, we can just align it like so. Another fun thing you can do is by clicking on it, Control Shift, and if you hold left mouse button not within these arrows, you can scale it, and if you move your mouse to the left side, you can unscale it, or use the arrows like so. Console key to deselect it, and you get these weird results. Weird, yes. That's all there's to it. Control S to save it, and I believe I'll see you on the next part, because the other part is gonna be a bit longer, I think. Yeah. So you're gonna work with file, open documents. You're gonna work with NFO file. I showed you how to do it. You're gonna work with episode NFO. As you see here, 01 tutorial, NFO folder, level name, NFO file, WLD. That's all there's to it. So I see you on the next one.